very full call tonight. Forrest,
Yeah,
I think once you
very,
start it.
very full.
Yes.
I got to tell you guys a fun story today. So y'all know that for like the last 6 or 7 years, Cheryl and I've done a pretty deep dive into neurology and the brain and movement mobility through two companies, one called Z Health and the other called Next Level Neuro, with some really brilliant brain people who've been doing this
Actually,
for a long
it's
time,
eight, it's almost 10 years now.
almost 10 years. So I was on that Matt was doing a new call. He was launching a new program they've got. So he did a new call tonight. And Matt's brilliant with neuro. We are doing Super Patch, and everything we do today has a foundation in what we've learned in neurology through Matt as our coach. And he came on, he starts talking, and he says, the world has changed. Everything's become hard. People's brains are messed up. They're stressed. And he said, we cannot use the old tools anymore. We have to get the brain regulated. I'm sitting there going, are you like brain tapping my wife? Because those of you who know Cheryl, she's been talking about new season, new tools, stress, overwhelm, anxiety, what we used prior to COVID. And I'm thinking, okay, she's pretty smart. I'll go with that. And then Matt's equally as smart. He looks a lot like me. We're kind of like brothers. But when Matt said it, I was like, oh, I can believe Matt. You believe somebody other than your own spouse. And he spent an hour and a half talking about all the different things, new drills he's doing to help regulate the brain, get the brain back into safety, get it out of anxiety and overwhelm. And he kept talking about new tools. And then Lene, we were doing the drills. We were doing different drills on the call and testing range of motion with all these drills that are supposed to help. And about three of the drills just took away my range of motion completely. So those of you that do range of motion, guess what I did? I looked at my arms and I said, there's no patch on me today. So I went and slapped on the Liberty patch. And guess what? All of the drills that were shutting my brain down, they all worked. New tool makes the neuro drills work better. It was like really, really cool. So that was a fun launch for the day today for me to just, and I told Charlie, I said, you and Matt got to have a talk because Matt needs your tools.
They are a great set of tools. Okay. All I'm going to do tonight is share some of the stories, just some. These are not all by any stretch. Some of the stories we're getting. And the reason I'm sharing it is I like to hear stories and it encourages me. But the combinations of that people are using on patches are things I would never have thought about. And then when they tell me the results, it's like, okay, brain, remember this. And hopefully over time, I'll discover more and more of the patterns that are driving all of this. But in the meantime, I'm going to share it with you so that you can play with the patches, notice what's going on and discover what works for you. Play, notice, discover.
We do have new people on tonight. So I hate to do this to you, but you've got to do a 3-minute introduction to
Okay.
what the patch is, why you like them for brand new people.
Okay.
And then those of you who have been around, you can just get Cheryl's language in you, and that'll be good for you.
So we have worked with neurology for about 10 years. I'm a naturopath and I've been working with people on health for about 35 years, tens of thousands of clients from around the world. And after 2020, especially people who got the vaccine, had COVID, had long haul COVID, what used to work just didn't work at all after 2020. So there's been a lot of revamping, a lot of working with detoxification, parasite cleanses. But the other thing I was seeing is people just have a lot of stress on their mind because we're in a very unpredictable world right now. Would you all agree that there's a lot of change? It's unpredictable, it's unfamiliar, unknown. All of that causes our brain to go into unsafe, unsafe, unsafe. And then you get stuck in this part, the subconscious brainstem cerebellum. And you can't get up here to, it's called the prefrontal cortex. But this is where you think, make decisions, carry them out, get creative, hear God's voice, learn, discover. That all happens up here. You cannot get here if your brainstem thinks it's completely unsafe and you don't know what to do about it. The good news is the patches, as proven with EEG testing, when you put a patch on, each patch, they have those little ridges. When you put that on the skin, it instantly sends a signal, think like a cell phone signal, through the skin, through the nervous system, up to the brain, and whatever pathway you're working on based on the patch, it instantly, that fast, puts that brain pathway into balance. If you take the patch off, it reverts back to being dysfunctional. They've proven that over and over and over and over with EEG testing. And once I heard that, I had a huge epiphany because I knew what that meant. And that's what we're seeing is some amazing, amazing results. So as I go through this tonight, these are stories. When Forrest sends out the email, there's notes. The first 2 pages are what's new every week. Everything after that is how do you apply the patches? What do you do if you have skin sensitivity? How do you remove them? And then a short summary for each one of the patches. That's there for every new person every single week. And then these calls all get recorded and they're put into 2 places. One is they get put on cheryltownsley.info. There'll be the date of the call and the primary topic. That doesn't have the notes though, correct?
We'll talk about this more in just a wee little bit.
But it doesn't have the notes.
No.
Okay. If you're on Facebook, you can be a part of our private group called Lifestyle for Health. And it's a private group on Facebook. And Lene, who's on tonight and helping us, she's like our right-hand genius superhero. She puts the recording and the notes also go on that page. So if you want notes from previous or go back and watch some calls, you can do that so you can learn. But we try to do new things every week for the people who are repeat, but the notes give you lots of information to get you up to speed. Okay, here's what I'm going to do. And if you have questions, you can put a question in the chat. If you can raise your hand and hopefully I see it or Lene will get my attention on that. But Boris has a lot he wants to do in his parts, so I've been instructed to go a little bit faster tonight, so I'm going to do my best. So first story on Kick It, which is primarily recommended for addictions like smoking, drugs, alcohol, food. But here's what this person found. I had a full day on the Kick It patch, full day of 0 looping thoughts. So if your thoughts just loop, 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 that's a form of self-sabotage. And she said that totally got rid of it. And last night I slept in bed for 5 hours straight before I had to get up and go to the bathroom. And so she could only sleep for an hour or 2. She also has had severe, severe hot flashes. She's the one that I shared last week. She'd go through 2 pairs of pajamas, 2 towels, and a set of sheets every night because of the hot flashes and having to get up at night. So with the Kick It patch, she slept 5 hours. The hot flashes were reduced by 50% the first night. So that's kind of exciting. The next one. A woman came in to see me just to talk. I didn't do like a scan. I didn't do the normal things I do with clients. She's had MS for years. She's been a missionary and served, I think, outside of the United States. And so with MS, just know that the Liberty patch was formulated by Jay, who owns the company and formulated all the patches for his mother, who had MS, and she was told she wouldn't have much longer to live. And that was like 16 years ago. She's doing fine. She has full mobility, full health, as long as she wears her Liberty patch. And when she takes it off, she reverts back. Because this is like flipping a switch. When you put it on, it flips the switch and puts that brain pathway in balance. It doesn't cure anything. The body has to do that. So when she takes the patch off, she reverts back. So I was really curious to see what would happen with this client. So when she came in, it was really cold out that day, and she came in with no coat, a walking stick, a big, tall walking stick, and she just walked very poorly. Couldn't go up and down the stairs. And when she came in, I said, "Did you forget your coat?" She said, "No. If I'm really cold, I can walk better." And I thought, well, that's kind of sad. But it also told me she probably had a nitric oxide issue, which she did. That's a separate issue. So we put her on Liberty and Lumi because she also had a lot of skin issues. She didn't have a lot of feeling in her skin, especially in her feet and in her hands. I hadn't seen her for a month. And even though I asked people to give me feedback, she had sent me none. She came in, she was using no cane, no walking stick. She could go up and down the stairs. Her countenance was completely different. And she said, "I'm much more stable." that one was very exciting to me. It told me it worked again. And all of us, even though I know this works, it's like when these stories come in, it just reaffirms it.
We got to jump on that one because who would think that a bandage with bumps on it could change things so dramatically? And one of the big, people are skeptical. And I go, the nice thing about this little band-aid with bumps on it, and Carrie, I'm just going to have you jump in real quick. So Doretta met Carrie at an event not too long ago. They're both in Florida. And Carrie said, Doretta wouldn't let me get away without putting a patch on. And then, Carrie, just take like 1 minute or less and tell us what happened when you put the patch on from this redhead crazy lady that you met at an event that you didn't know. You have to unmute yourself, hon.
Can
There
you
we
hear
go.
me
You're
now?
good. Yeah, no, you're good.
Okay. Uh, I yeah, I've had a lot of surgeries and I've lost a lot of weight and I'm kind of weak. And well, I am weak. And she did the you know what it is where I put my fist down and she tries to move it.
Balance,
Okay.
the balance test.
Balance, yes. So when she first did it, of course, you know, I wasn't strong enough to hold it back or anything. And she says, okay, I'm going to put this patch on you. And I said, okay. And so anyway, she put the patch on. Not not even 2 minutes later, we did the routine again. And I had strength. I had strength. And the other part where she pulls me forward, I was able to hold myself upright. And it was just amazing. And I went ahead and wore it all day today. I slept better. If I sleep flat, I'd wake up with having to, spit. I know it doesn't sound ladylike, but I'd have all this other issue, or I'd feel like I got to vomit or something. But last night I woke up, I was flat, but I didn't have any of those symptoms at all. So I was pretty excited because I've been living with that for what, 4 years. So I
So
was pretty excited.
one of the things that the Liberty patch does is obviously balance, but it also works on the vagus nerve, which is the most important nerve in the body. And that means it's going to benefit things like nausea and all the issues going on in your throat that you just mentioned. So
Right.
it's doing lots of good things.
Good, good.
So what's
Yeah,
really fun about this is Doretta just put a patch on you and you had an experience. And that's what's causing this business to explode because
right.
you didn't need to see a white paper, you didn't need to see a research paper. It was
Mm-mm.
like I sort of say, Jesus put some mud in your eyes and you could see. And you don't really care about where the mud came from. You just know that I could see. And these patches are
Right,
just
right.
pretty interesting. So thank you for sharing that because I wanted to always interject how easy it is because Doretta is not, she's not my wife. She's not a healthcare professional. Doretta just likes helping people. And now she's
Uh-huh.
putting patches on them. And here's what's so cool. She changed your life
Yep.
because here's what happens.
Yep.
If we keep you from tripping tomorrow and falling and breaking a hip because you got better balance, we just changed your
Yep.
life.
Oh, yeah.
And
Yeah,
that's what's so
exactly.
cool about this. So, okay, Cheryl, back to you. Thank you for sharing.
Uh-huh.
Okay, the
Sure.
stories I'm sharing are on your notes. So when you get the email that goes out, then you'll have all these to go back and reference and to share with people. The next one is another Kick It story. She said, last night at 7 p.m., I decided to only wear the REM patch on the top of my left foot. So people try different locations. And I removed all the other patches and until the morning. I washed all the areas, cleaned them with alcohol, just made sure there was nothing there. I went to bed at 8, woke up at 11:30 to go to the bathroom. My brain was overactive, my body hurt all over, and I felt like I was in a panic. I lay in bed, but I was awake until 2 a.m. thinking of stupid stuff and worrying about my dad and my life. I got up at 2 and put Kick It on with Defend. She already had REM. When I went back to sleep, it was like a golden wave of warmth began to immediately flow through my body from the top of my head to the bottom of my feet. I fell asleep quickly and deeply, and I slept all the way to 5:30. So for her, Kick It, remember that self-sabotage, looping thoughts, addictive behavior, along with Defend, which works on the gut, the immune system, blood quality, and REM, great story. Um, This is a different one. I had not had a good experience with REM. I would have nightmares and it just didn't work. So she had put it in the back of the cabinet and she and I talked about some things. I don't remember now what we talked about. So she decided she was going to try the REM patch. This time she put it on the top of her right foot for Friday night, then saved it because she's only wearing it for 12 hours or 8 hours. So she saves the backing, puts it on the backing so she can wear it for another night. And it's like getting 2 days for one.
The key on that, it will work a second day if it stays sticky, depending on your skin, your sweat, your oil. If it doesn't stick, it's not. But that's where some people have the ability to put it back on a second time based on stickiness.
She said
Can
her
I ask a
sleep.
quick question about that?
Sure.
Can you add either, like if it's sticking, but not all the way to the edges, can you use like medical tape or Band-Aids to keep it
I
on?
would
And it'll
I
still
would
be
try it and see what
effective?
happens. Yeah, try it and see what happens. Okay, remember, experiment, guys. This is like fifth grade science. You teach kids to do an experiment.
The two that you can do that with, that people are doing it with, some people, REM is nighttime, Boost is daytime. So those two you could potentially see if it works for you. It's an
I've been
easy.
doing that. And also too, for people who can muscle test, I've been muscle testing other patches and they're lasting longer.
So let me show what I do. So all of you know, I wear the Victory patch most of the time for range of motion mobility. And what I've noticed is, so I can do my range of motion, which I won't demonstrate right now, but I put it on and then I wear it until I lose my range of motion. And it's like about a day and a half. So I can get like a day and a half, sometimes 2 days out of it. But suddenly it's like range of motion will go away. And it's like, oh, the patch isn't working, take it off. And then I wait. And I never put them on the same spot twice because if you leave them on too long, it's like having a band-aid on the skin in one spot. But it is interesting to go, I can watch when that particular patch stops working for me because I lose my balance range of motion. Go ahead.
So, I'm going to say something.
I'm sorry.
The 24 hours, which is what it says on the packets, that's what the study was done. So when they were studying it with EEG and doing all the research for it, they did it for a 24-hour segment. That doesn't mean it necessarily ends at 24 hours. That's simply where the research was done. So people who know how to muscle test, or you notice you just forget to put a new patch on, you're still having benefit, and then all of a sudden you have this, you're learning what those time limits are for you, and they can be different than 24 hours. Okay, the next one, this person said, I didn't put on peace or joy on the weekend like I do on office days. My parents have been under a lot of stress. My sister texted me at 6 in the morning asking me to call her ASAP. Her dad had gone to the hospital and he was passing blood and he was in urgent care. And so she went through this whole thing. And then she said, I felt like my heart rate skyrocketed as soon as I hung up. I felt so helpless for being 5 hours away from my dad. I walked directly to the bathroom, put on peace and joy. Within 10 minutes, I was calm. That's pretty cool. That's just pretty cool. I think I've got one or two more and then I'll be done. Freedom patch. I have had an ongoing headache for the last 2 weeks, emanating from behind my right scapula and up my neck all the way to my eyeball. I've tried Panaway, it's an essential oil, painkillers, chiropractic, etc., for the last 5 days. I have worn a freedom patch right on this right scapula and also one at the base of my neck, and zero headaches. Most of the time, one or two patches. Freedom is the only one where you might need a second. Almost always will get rid of pain anywhere from 5 to 15 minutes. So I don't deal with pain hardly ever, but when I do, I tend to put it on my shoulder or I'll put it on my neck below the hairline because you don't want to put patches on hair. You want it direct to skin and it gets rid of the pain. So just a few updates. How many of you thought some of those were kind of interesting?
Here's the fun thing. You guys are changing people's lives by giving them patches. And what's so breakthrough about this is we're dealing with neurology. We're hacking the brain, if you will. Everybody's always doing all these hacks, but this is probably the easiest, fastest way to impact different areas of the brain. So before we transition,
One other thing. There is a picture in the notes because people continually ask what's in them. No ingredients, no chemicals, There's no contraindication with surgeries or medications or pregnant women. That's a big deal to be able to say that publicly because that's a big legal issue. All it is a signal. It's like a QR code sending you to a website. These are signals on the patches, simply putting a brain pathway into balance. So when you get to that, it's not like taking supplements. The only time I have found in the people I work with, if they do a certain patch and then they have some unusual situation afterwards, it's not the brain pathway that's the issue. It's not the patch that's an issue. It's that the outcome doesn't feel safe by the brain. So that's why with some of these people, I just talk with them and walk them through what it means, and they have some insights, and then everything starts to work.
Let me give you another analogy as I was explaining it to the guy at the post office the other day because his wife thinks they're weird. If Cheryl puts up her hand and I hold it, I'm sending a signal to her. Now, this can be a loving, caring signal, or it can be a cold, prickly signal, right? You've all held and touched people that are cold, prickly. Now, as soon as I let go, where did the signal go? It's gone. There's no signal going to her brain anymore. Now, since I come back over and touch her hand, the signal is back. So it's like on, off, the same as Braille. If I'm running my fingers over Braille bumps, I can read because I'm sending a tactile signal to the brain, right? I'm sending a tactile thing, little bumps, but as soon as the bumps go away, there's no signal. So the brain can only read when there's a signal. So the genius of these patches is it's a signal to the brain, and it will make everything else work better. It was so cool in our call with Matt today. Matt with neuro, we've talked about exercise, fitness, food, mental, emotional. All of these things are important. Our supplements, all of that's important. We simply need new tools in this season for brains that are in a very different state than they used to be in. Okay, questions or comments for like 3 or 4 minutes before we move on to part 2 of the call? Ron, go ahead. Thank you for raising your hand, son. Unmute. If you're going to talk, get ready to unmute.
I did the hand strength tester with my DO today. So I know him fairly well. And he goes, "Oh, I know all about all these patches." And I go, "I'm starting to use this word. I'm not sure it's permissible. Quantum physics, because it's all physics." And I asked Elaine if I can use that. She says, "Oh, only use what Jay uses." But from what
Quantum
I've seen,
physics is right.
it works good. And I got my hair cut. And I sat down and I asked her if she had any pain. So I put a patch on this arm and she said, "What about mobility?" "Oh, yeah, I've had an operation." So I put a patch on the other arm. And she says, "It was meant to be that you sat in my chair today." So it was a spiritual connection also. Because when you love on people, that opens the door.
Good job, Ron.
And the little grip strength is interesting because you can actually measure grip strength with their little device you can get to measure it. And you'll get about it. The studies that they've done show about a 10% increase in grip strength. The big thing for me is when I put the victory patch on, my hands balance out, whereas stronger, weaker, they will actually balance on the grip strength test with the victory patch on. So it's leveling out my brain. Okay.
Yeah, I tell them I do it on both hands. I tell them to write down what I get.
Yeah.
Put it back on. This guy was predominantly right-handed, but his left hand was stronger at the beginning. He says, "Oh, that helps me in golf." He says, "I used to do procedures and I use left hand." But it's been fun kind of sharing it. And then I have some people, well, I did one on the bookkeeper on the way in. "Well, on the way out, you feel anything?" "No, not yet." I says, "Well, just keep waiting. It'll do it."
Excellent. And again, it's these patches, all the other patches on the market have stuff in them or on them. These don't. Okay, anything else real quick? Because I got to make a little transition here for you guys. Want to make sure everybody feels included and loved. Primal need of human beings is to feel connected to each other. And we all just sit there and look at us. I don't feel connected. If you at least smile, then I feel emotionally connected. It's safe. Thank you, Mark. Thank you, Anne. Okay, we're going to trade seats because I have to drive. Okay. Pretty complicated here in the studio. Okay, so here's my notes. A lot to cover with you guys tonight. Now, some of you, we've done the Cheryl part. Now we're going to do the Forrest part. So we're going to talk a little bit more about the business side of this. A bunch of you asked me how you make money. And so if you're just here for the Cheryl side, I don't feel too bad if you leave, but I will feel a little bit bad if you leave, but it'll be okay. I'll go eat some cookies afterwards and it'll work out. We don't have any cookies in the house, do we? But a bunch of you said, how do we make money? And I said, we've had so many people patching up that I haven't had time to figure out how we make money. I've just trusted that if I put patches on people, I'll make money. And that's what's happened. So those of you that understand, network marketing, we have a customer side to the business. We have like an affiliate referral side to the business, and we have a network marketing side. I've been in and out of network marketing, both positively and negatively. I'm one of the lucky ones that had some positive experiences, and I'm also one of the ones that had some really ugly experiences with it. So I'd say, the word network marketing, good, bad, and ugly, everybody's had a little bit of that, but we have that in all areas of life. My daughter works for a great corporation, but guess what? She's had the good, bad, and the ugly there as well. But to do what we've done, we started with the patches 2.5 months ago, middle of August. Last month, our team, all of you guys, we did $51,000 in patch sales. Now, anybody spent in my first company that I was very good at, it took me over a year to get to 50,000 in sales. And that's without anybody knowing what the comp plan is. That's what like Shelly, she went out, she called, I didn't even know Shelly before she called up and said, she signed up. She was on one of these calls. And next thing I know, she signed up and I was like, who's Shelly? And then by the time I got a hold of her, she had already got 3 or 4 of her friends buying packs. Okay. That's what's happening with this. It's just been an interesting journey. Doretta's out putting patches on people. But anyway, so what was really cool about the comp plan is it works because we had 20 people hit the level of team leader. So I'm just going to read them. And that meant $3,000 in volume. So that was huge. And each of you that hit team leader.
16 and 4.
16. Okay.
Yeah.
It was a buttload, if you know that expression. But team leader makes $100 bonus check. So
plus whatever the sales
were. So there's some of you made bonus checks you don't know you made yet, which is kind of cool. We'll talk about that in a few minutes. But that went to Glenda, Kelly Schweiger, Shelley Pomeroy, Teresa Smallwood, Robin Wilson, Ron Hart, Tracy Shinhoff, Kelly Jamerson, Nancy Gossi, Candace Scott, Renee Skrensky, Shannon Boucher, Lois Regan, Brenda Tenney, Melinda Stokes, and Doretta Anderson. All of you guys hit team leaders, and all of you got $100 bonus checks, whether you know it or not. And if you're feeling guilty you didn't do enough for that, just send me half of it because I worked really hard for you last month. But the beauty of this business is you work really hard and you help other people, and we want to create that success. And then we created director volume for 4 people. Nancy Stewart, congratulations. Nancy came into this. Nancy was one of the ones that got it from the beginning. She stepped up. So we gave, but she also put a lot into this. So really proud of her. Connie Neeson did a great job. I talked to her the other day. She said, I'm just doing this because I like helping people. I said, do you need the money? She said, no, we're just helping people. She's a friend of Glenda's. And she said, she's just happy helping people. So that was cool. And then we helped Desiree, who's like a surrogate daughter to us, and my daughter, Anna. We're building teams for the 2 of them because I want to help our kids do well. And so as I look at all of the faces, the Lord keeps saying, Forrest, don't look at the numbers, look at the faces, look at the hearts, see what's going on in people, and realize that what we're doing with Super Patch, yes, there's patches, yes, there's sales, yes, there's income, but more than that, what Cheryl and I are striving to do on this team is to create community, to create connection, to bring all that we've learned the last 35 years, all of the neurology, all of the health, all of the nutrition, all of the emotion coaching, business coaching, sales coaching, bringing all of that to the table so that this community is more than just a patch. Does that make sense? And for some of you, it'll create financial margin. For some of you, it'll just create the margin of helping others. For some of you, it's like for Mark, it gives him the margin to be able to get up and go to the bathroom without somebody having to hurt,
Up and down stairs is a better analogy.
No, when you're 20, you don't think about being able to go to the bathroom. When you're 70, I mean, how many people in there is like, can I get in and out of the bathroom? It's a deal breaker for folks. And no, I'm the only one that talks about it, but it's true. It's like, you have to protect yourself. Cheryl's nudging me. I don't have to go to the bathroom. I'm good.
I know, but you have a lot to do.
Okay, I got a lot to do. So anyway, congratulations on all those promotions to everybody. And so Shelly and And Kelly called me and said, Forrest, how do we make money? People want to know how to make money. So we're going to touch base on that tonight and show you how we make money. So I've got a couple of resources. I spent an hour today with Kelly doing what I'm going to try to do with you guys in like 15 minutes. But let's do a screen share here and show you a couple things because I've got some cool stuff available for you. So we're going to share this.
And you have videos
Screen.
coming.
I got so much coming, guys. It's going to be a miracle. Share. Okay. So on the Lifestyle for Health website, we've redesigned our website. Now, all of you have known us for a long time know that the Lifestyle for Health website has always been about Cheryl, the doctor, all of her success, all of her experience as a doctor. We made the decision 3 months ago that we were all in with Super Patch because it was an amazing extension of what we've done for 36 years. So when you scroll down our homepage, guess what's at the top of the page? This reflects a decision Cheryl made after 36 years, thousands of products, thousands of clients, that this is the most important discovery she's found. And we've got some great videos of her on here. And so that's our homepage, but this is the one I want to take you to. Now, this page is not on the header of the page because it's not public. It's only for those of you who know about it. So this header is Superpatch, is lifestyleforhealth.com, our website, but you need /SP training, Superpatch training, okay? So we now have a place on our website where you can all go and find all of the training we're doing. So it's lifestyle, you can just go to lifestyleforhealth.com, it's our website, but you have to put in /Superpatch training.
SP training.
SP training, SP. And the reason I did that, Lene can type it into the notes for you guys. The reason I did that is we're kind of keeping this so that it's for our team, our folks, okay? Now, what's on here are all of the things that you used to have to go to YouTube for. So we have got how to build your business. Here's your balance test. Here's Jay, the owner of the company, doing some initial mastermind training on how to build your business. And this is the first video I did. This one is an overview, a walkthrough of all of your back office. It was interesting when I put this on YouTube. YouTube took it down the first time because it showed people's names and stuff on it. So there's a bunch of fuzzy faces on here, but that one walks you through your back office. So that's there. Right here, we have all of Cheryl's videos on each of the patches. So you don't have to go to YouTube anymore. They're all right here in one place.
And those are going to be updated hopefully by the end of the year.
So each of these are like a 5 to 10 minute video on each of the patches and what they do. Okay. Then we've got a playlist for Cheryl and the doctor's training. This is Cheryl's video on why she decided to do this. This video right here with Dr. Anna was the first video Cheryl watched that gave her the revelation she should do this. This is a great discussion by a few doctors on the patches. Cheryl going over all of her favorites. So all of those are in one place where you can find them easily now. And then I've started putting up the videos by Jay Dhaliwal, the founder of the company. He is Indian. His parents immigrated from India. Very, very successful in IT, tech, business, innovation.
And he's the formulator for all the.
He's also the formulator for all these. So don't do what I did. First time I saw him, I said, oh, he looks Indian to me. I don't trust Indian people. I literally had a prejudice, and it's like the Lord's been working with me on my judgments. So I judged him because he was big and, Indian. And then I started listening to him, and as soon as he started talking, it's like, oh, forgive me for judging. Yeah, that's an issue with me, is judging it. So I'm working on that. And then right here is where I'm putting all of the replays. So a bunch of you have asked where the replays for the calls are. So these go all the Q&A calls we've done, and it tells you what we've covered in each of those. So those are all right there. And then we're starting to put the testimonies on this page for you as well. Okay. So all that's in one place.
The one that's Monica Rosa, if you ever talk to a practitioner, PT, neurologist, that video right there, she fell, face plant, broke her nose in the hospital, couldn't walk. That is a video of what her walk looked like. And then Forrest put the patch on, and it was a night and day experience. So that is one to show practitioners. Linda, you had about 3 or 4 things happen to you. So why don't you share what you have found for you? Let's not do that.
Okay. So anyway, that's all right there. Okay. Questions on that? You guys good with all that? That helpful? And now that we've got the basics up, we can
you asked 4 questions and didn't pause.
We have to talk fast.
So just know that's all there. And how do you find it? You go to lifestyleforhealth.com /SP training. all the resources we've tried to put in one place. It's the first time we've ever done that on our website.
And you guys can feel free to share this. Evagali keeps saying, can I share this? Like everything we do is shareable. Okay, we've got like more new people on the call tonight than ever because y'all are sharing. So we are a resource for you to go out and patch and then share. Okay, so that's that page. Uh-oh, something went away. Where am I going to? Oh, let's just go here. So now let's take you to this page. When you become an associate, you get this page. Okay, so you notice this is my personal page. If you have people who would like to try the patches and you don't have them for sale, you simply tell them to go to your page. So when you become a member, everybody gets a page. Mine's forest.superpatch.com. Ron couldn't get Ron because somebody already had Ron, but you put a URL up for it. And we just have people go here and they can hit the shop button, and that takes them into a shopping cart page where they can order patches. Okay, and they pick the country they're in. When you click on select different location, Super Patch is selling products in all of these countries, so you can click on that. They will buy in those currencies. Okay, so we're in the United States, we'll stick with that. And this lets them come down here and purchase the patches. Now, they're showing the new prices that are going to happen in January for customers on the corporate site with the new and improved patch. When somebody checks out as a customer, they will get on that initial order a 25% discount. So it gets the patches back down to $45 for our customers on their first time go.
Unless they're 99.
Yeah, so but you're going to get 25% off all of these as a customer when you're getting started. So that's where customers go. And from a compensation standpoint, anytime you refer a customer to us, you will earn a 25% commission on those customers. Now, for those of you working on the business, what I have discovered is that when Doretta puts a patch on Carrie, and Carrie goes, oh my gosh, this works. I slept and I was able to balance. Carrie is not interested in waiting 10 days for Super Patch to send her some patches. She's like, no, I need to sleep tonight. So I recommend that you all have patches on hand to sell to people the first time around the shoot. So we'll get to that next, but you need to have inventory that you can buy at the associate price. And then I sell those for, can you get that, Cheryl? I take those patches and I buy them for $45 and I sell them for $60 to my clients and my customers. And I also take those bigger patches and I break them up and I put them in little baggies. So if Carrie, for example, wasn't sure, Doretta can reach in her purse and say, great, I've got 7 in a little baggie you can buy for $15 so she can go home and try them for a week and make sure she likes them. So you do need to have inventory on hand to get people started while they're waiting for their product to come. Does that make sense to everybody? I can't see now with this up there. Questions? Are we okay, Lene?
Yep, we're doing good.
Okay. We're going to go back. So we're going to walk through some of it tonight. Now, on this lifestyleforhealth.com/super patch page, super SP training, we have also put PDF files. So this file right here is PDF, so you can open it up and download it. This is the one that I give people when they're trying to figure out which patches to buy and what each patch does. So that's right there. You can print that out in color and you can go through and see what the company recommends using those patches for. Okay. All of these patches are FDA registered in the United States. This one right here is very important. This is called How You Get Paid. Some of you earned commission checks and you weren't aware of it. When you get a commission check, you will get an email from a name called VoxPay. Vox was the original company that Jay created when he made his socks for his mother. The patches were originally a sock that you wore. He just found that socks were hard to market in Florida in the summertime. He needed a patch he could put on. So you will get an email from VoxPay. And a bunch of you sent that to spam. So you need to be aware of VoxPay is the email that says you had money coming. This little guide will walk you through how to go in and set up your account. And you need to tie this to a bank account or a credit card, and they'll move money into your account for you. So that's VoxPay. you can also go online and type in Vox Pay and it'll take you to their website. And you can find out if you have money. That's kind of important. Going kind of quickly, this one right here, some of you have been asking, what are the new prices going to be in January? So I'm sharing this so you can anticipate what's happening. So currently, prices for our associates are $45. In January, the regular price will go from $45 to $51.75, and the Smart Ship will go to $47. The important part about Smart Ship is that when somebody orders 4 packs, you get 1 free. So you buy 4 and you pay for 3. So that's right there. And then what's going to happen is the customer prices are going up. This will be what's on your customer site. And then the company is going to be doing large national advertising campaigns. You'll see them advertising extensively. They will be selling the products for $99. I didn't think that was a great idea, but they did, so they didn't ask me. Their reason for that is they want customers to see that when they shop through you, they get a better value, but they're going to do the advertising to bring in customers. They want to show that they've got a product that's worth $99. If they put it on auto ship, it'll be $89. But when you're out talking to people, you can say, when you buy through my website, you will save significantly over the company price, which I think is a great idea. This one is what you make. I won't go into it tonight because we're running out of time. This just tells you what you make in commissions when you sell the different kits when somebody enrolls. And let's go to this one. Okay, questions, comments so far. I'm giving you a very quick overview, but we want to get this ball rolling tonight. It's a hard ball for me to get rolling, but we're going to do it anyway. So far, so good? Thanks, Ron. Okay, I can see Ron and Lene. And if I get thumbs up from them, I'm good. And Lene's handling the chat because that's all missing. Okay, so this is the Super Patch compensation plan. I paid almost no attention to it for 2 months because we had people wanting patches, and my job was to put patches on people, create success stories, and I trusted that I would get paid. Can you believe that? Ron, when you took a job at the school district, you just trusted they'd send you a paycheck? But what I did do is the person that sponsored me has had a very successful both up and down career in network marketing. We were in a couple of companies together, and I said, Rick, my wife is selling patches. I don't want to sell patches. I just need to know if my wife sells patches, is the compensation plan going to pay me? And he gave me a good enough verification because right now they're doing about, Rick's doing about, my upline sponsor is doing about 450,000 in volume after a year and a half, kind of unheard of. And he said, Forrest, once you get to right here, this, can I make this bigger, Lene? Yeah, oh, that's too big. Okay. You guys can print these out. He said, Forrest, you're going to make about 10%. And that's what we're making. So last month when we did 50,000, I made right at $5,000 in income on this. Okay, so I just decided you make about 10%. That's pretty good for a network marketing company. So I just trusted Rick. We started selling patches to people. And now some of you are saying, can you actually make money at this? So we're going to give you the 15-minute walkthrough of this, and then we can explain more of it later. The most important part to me was, if I sell product to a customer right here, do I get paid? And yes, the answer is yes. So everybody that we started out as a customer by going to that page I just showed you, I made 25% commission on it. So if they bought $100 worth of patches, I made $25. Okay, it's dollar, it's whatever they pay, you make 25% of that. So, and when they bought product from me in the clinic, I was also making about 30% by the time I took my price and marked it up. So getting people started on the product, 25 to 30% is what we made on that. Now, what happens next is that the following month, the price for customers goes up. We have been taking our customers and converting them to members or associates so they get the cheaper price on the product. That means they go into the downline. When somebody becomes a member, and to become a member, right now, normally it costs you $40 the first year. It's kind of like joining Costco. You pay a membership fee at Costco. So to become a member at Super Patch, Typically, it's $40 to join, and then the renewal is $25 a year. Right now, for the end of the year, they've been doing a special. You can become a member for $1. So if Carrie decides that she's tried the samples that Doretta has given her, Doretta's got a bunch of product at her place, and she can just sell them to Carrie, and then Carrie goes, well, I like these. I need to get these at the best price. For $1, Carrie can become a member, and she'll get those membership prices. Now, how does Doretta get paid on Carrie now? I got to slow down, right, Lene? Lene's my math teacher. She's got a PhD in math, and she's looking
Yeah,
at me like,
I want you to keep breathing.
yeah, because this is starting to get hard all of a sudden
Yeah, and
in a
it's
group
okay.
setting.
We're not going to get it in 13 minutes.
No. So what we're going to do is just show you a couple things here real quick. The biggest piece takeaway for me is that we have a product that's easy to sell. We have a product that's intriguing, that's
Easy to share.
easy to share. We have sold a lot of really good products. Our last really successful line was our parasite cleanse. How many of you went through all the parasite stuff with us last year? Parasites and killing parasites is very popular right now. But you know what you got to do to get people excited about parasites? You got to show them pictures of parasites. Like we sold parasites because one of the women in Cheryl's women's group came to women's group after she'd had her colonic and had a picture on her phone of a parasite that came out of her. And she showed all the women the parasite that came out of her at the colonic. And then all the women said, oh, can we do that too? And then they all said, Forrest, will you order those products in for us? So we sold pair 4, pair 1, 2, 3, and 4 last year. Sold a lot of those because there were 10 women in Cheryl's women's group that all wanted to kill parasites. But, Doretta, you can't go to a Mary Kay event and show them a picture of a parasite and get people excited about that so well. So, we've sold glutathione, one of my favorite products. We've sold oils. We've sold a lot of things, but nothing has been as compelling and easy as put on a patch. And you heard Connie's testimony tonight, and Carrie's testimony, and I walk better and I see better. Dave's on here. Dave, can you just we're going to run 1 minute over. Dave, can you unmute and tell me what happened to your brother real quick when you put the patch on him? Dave has a big ranch up in Wyoming, right on the Platte River. He has a national ministry.
There you go.
All right. So, yeah, just my brother had an accident a year ago, April, and fell off a trailer and hit his back of his head on the bumper of the pickup. And so since then, it's kind of like a stroke in that he's been where he can't walk well and get this. And also just has a slurred speech. And so it's kind of been an issue. And we've been doing some brain mapping to try to get a little bit better. All the tests show that there's nothing wrong with the brain and so on. So anyhow, we brought a couple patches back for him and gave those to him, and it's helped his, especially like in the morning, it's made a complete difference as far as just his ability to walk and stay pretty steady, as well as his speech is considerably better. And then even with the brain mapping, they have confirmed that when he's using the patches, that the actual brain mapping is to try to correct that in the brain, and he's been real slow at that. Since he's been on the patches, they said that it's been really assisting the mapping to where he's actually getting better from that just since he's been on the patch. So it's positive. It's good.
Thanks, Dave. And I just realized Cheryl just nudged me because I made a mistake.